It's 1967. You Only Live Twice is hitting theaters, following the biggest Bond film in the entire franchise at the time, Thunderball. Sean Connery announces that he is done with James Bond 007. He is hanging up his Walther PPK and turning in his License to Kill. He's had enough. He's moving on. What do the producers do? What does Cubby Broccoli do? Obviously, the Bond series must continue, so they decide to recast. Now, looking back now, this is like no big deal since audiences are accustomed to new actors becoming James Bond 007. We've had 6 actors thus far, including Daniel Craig, Timothy Dalton, Roger Moore, George Lazenby, and of course Sean Connery, the man who started it all. We're not counting David Niven in the other Casino Royale because it doesn't count. So, what do? They recast. After a long period of auditions, they announced that there will be a new Bond, the next one, on Her Majesty's Secret Service, and there will be a new actor playing James Bond 007, who turns out to be George Lazenby, a untried first-time actor, model-turned-actor, I should say, and the rest is history. Now, looking back, there was obviously backlash to On Her Majesty's Secret Service because it was the first one without Sean Connery, and nobody wanted to see a Bond movie without Sean Connery. I mean, and then say everybody's like, who the hell is this guy? Who is this George Lazenby guy? It was like, oh, forget him. But again, in retrospective, On Her Majesty's Secret Service turns out to be one of the best James Bond films in the series. It is probably the most dramatic and fascinating look into the life of 007 that we've ever, at the time, have ever seen. And even after the span of 24 films, including the upcoming Spectre, it's still one of the best. Granted, George Lazenby could be a little wooden here and there, but a first-time actor, he did a really good job of holding his own. He had a certain presence on screen that actually you can buy into him as Bond, and if allowed to continue in the role, you probably could have seen him playing Bond for a good 6 films or so. We might not even be in a Roger Moore era of 007 if Lazenby actually stuck around, and if audiences gave him a shot, because he actually turns out to be pretty good, and presents a vulnerable side of 007 that we haven't seen presented on screen with Sean Connery. Not to say he's better than Connery, but the script that he was given to act in, this Secret Service could have easily been the best Sean Connery film if he stuck around for it. But the version that we got is still quite damn good. We're obviously, the filmmakers wanted to make the effort to make sure people know that this is the same guy, so that during the title sequence over John Barry's amazing instrumental score for this film, you see scenes from the previous 5 films, and then there's a moment where you see James Bond in his office sitting at his desk pulling out mementos from previous missions, and you hear the cues from those films, and you're like, it's like, okay, this is the same guy, this is what we got to buy into. And so similar to like events like in, say, Pierce Brosnan's Die Another Day, where he goes into Q's lab and you see all the various gadgets and things that he came across over his missions, and you just buy into the fact, okay, this is the same 007 that was in those previous films. But Secret Service is great. Is a great story where he's sent out on a mission to investigate what's going on at this Swiss Alps research facility. But in the meantime, he finds himself getting involved with a Contessa and Tracy, and he gets involved with her, and their paths cross here and there, and eventually Bond, for the first time, finds himself falling in love. And this is something that was never really explored until Daniel Craig's first film, Casino Royale, and that was really good there too. But the love story is very potent, and you buy into it, and it's like saying, oh, this is great. Bond falls in love. This is something we never saw before. Tracy is brilliantly played by Diana Rigg, probably best known for the Avengers, not the Avengers, but the Avengers with Patrick Macnee, and she is great as the Bond girl, and she holds her own as well. She's just like not some damsel in distress. She's smart, she's strong, and she knows how to fight. And we're introduced to a new Blofeld, another actor playing Blofeld, this time Telly Savalas. Many people harp at the fact of the continuity that that Bond finds Blofeld and he doesn't know who he is, because he technically met Blofeld in You Only Live Twice, which is the previous film. But as it turns out, in production notes you may read, but Secret Service was at the time supposed to be the next film after Thunderball, but logistics came around that they had to push that one back, so they ended up doing You Only Live Twice instead. So can you only imagine Sean Connery in this one? Ooh, that would be great. But yeah, there's the film itself, directed by Peter Hunt. It's, for a near 2.5-hour film, it is fast. It features some fantastic set pieces, great action sequences. It features one great chase after another. It has a great introduction to this new guy in the beginning. It's like, who is this guy? With a rather cute nod to the audience about the transition to the new person. There's a number of great scenes in this film, and one of the ones that I always keyed on when I was watching this, there's a moment where Bond escapes, and he's being pursued by like a bunch of henchmen and a couple of Blofeld's minions, and he is really doing all he can to get away and hide. And there's a moment where Tracy stumbles across him, and you can see in his eyes, Bond is scared shitless right now. He is actually out of his wits. He's cornered. He doesn't know where to go. It's like, oh my God, you've never seen that in Bond before, except maybe in, say, Dr. No, where Connery's Bond has a rather close encounter with a tarantula, and then after he manages to get away from it and kill it, he walks to the bathroom and subtly implies that he's about to puke. That's probably one of the few times you ever saw fear in Bond's eyes and face, but here you really look like this. Like, this guy's, he's losing it, and then he miraculously finds a way out. So stuff like that is what the vulnerability that Lazenby brings to the character is something that was lacking until later Bonds, in particular when Timothy Dalton took over. And his two were great, and in retrospective before his time, until we got the Daniel Craig version, which everybody's totally embracing. So on Her Majesty's Secret Service, while for many considered to be some people consider it to be the worst, only because it's not Connery, it's a new guy, and other people consider it the pinnacle of what James Bond can be and should be. I am not middle of the road. I'm very much closer to the top of where many fans consider it. It's hard for me to say which one is my favorite all-time Bond. There was a time where Secret Service was my all-time favorite Bond film, and then ended up being Skyfall, then ended up being Casino Royale, and then I went back to Secret Service again, and then I was thinking watching License to Kill stuff and films like that. But on Her Majesty's Secret Service rates a 9 out of 10. It is clearly one of the best films in the franchise and definitely worth checking out. If you're a fan of the series, it's a must-see. And if you've seen it before, it's worth seeing again, even just for that impactful, powerful, like incredibly shocking and stunning and like potent finale that you would never expect in a Bond movie. And it was just unfortunate that Connery, I shouldn't say fortunate, but Connery did come back in Diamonds Are Forever. And the through line from Secret Service into Diamonds just seems like a throwaway in Diamonds Are Forever, that Diamonds actually suffers because of that. And Diamonds turned out to be his last official Bond film until he did Never Say Never Again. So, George Lazenby holds his own as James Bond 007 in his one outing as the man with the license to kill, and it's definitely worth seeing. So again, on Her Majesty's Secret Service, a 9 out of 10. So if you enjoyed my throwback review of On Her Majesty's Secret Service, hit that like button below. If you haven't already subscribed to my channel, please do, so you can stay on top of my reviews as they come in. So, are you a James Bond fan? Have you seen Secret Service? What are your thoughts of it? Did you love it? Hate it? Middle of the road? Did you buy into Lazenby? Did you think he was weak? Would you have liked to have seen him continue? I'm very curious to see what you guys think. So, until next time, Bond is back. Spectre returns.